Good evening, everybody. How are y'all doing?
Good.
How are y'all doing? That's a little better. Okay. All right. First and foremost, we're going to get this on out of the way real quick. I had a few more flyers and stuff submitted. Glad to see that. So we're slowly starting to do some stuff.
Oh, Cam put a flyer up at Wayne's Grocery.
Yep, I know she put one up. Did she put another one up?
You just did that one, right?
At the salon.
And one at the salon, yes.
And that's salon, all right. But thank y'all. And when we'll get these back, and y'all put them out wherever you want.
What you did?
Well, I'll let them tell y'all if they want to. But anyways, anybody else got any? Oh, so let's see if we start coming in. And some of my older ones, I'd like to see y'all do a little stuff.
Yeah, y'all could do some computer work.
Maybe some computer stuff designed so we can get some stuff out like that. All right. Y'all have a good day?
No.
Y'all enjoying the rain?
No.
What?
Yes.
Not enjoying the rain?
Yeah. We got rain boots.
You got some rain boots? That's a good thing. That means you all right for the rain. Well, let me ask y'all a question. Where does rain come from?
God.
Can you describe? Do I? Go ahead.
Wowzer.
Wow.
Damn.
Hey, that's pretty good. Can you tell me more about it?
I was just gonna say.
Well, no, y'all, I'm impressed and I'm proud
Was
of
that
it.
a Tropicana speech?
But that's that is a good description of what we as human beings have learned about rain and the water cycle and things like that. And you done what I had wrote down there. Somebody describe it for me. What rain is, or where it comes from. Now, next question. Do we as humans, do we have any power to make it rain or to make the rain stop?
Yes.
All right, well, I mean, if you think so, describe it to me. Explain it.
Same.
Huh?
We have rain machines.
Okay, all right. Do I?
We have rain machines.
Yeah, I guess we do have that.
Well, in the Bible, wasn't there, I mean, obviously they prayed for rain, but they also prayed for the rain to cease. That's what I said. Is that what you said?
All right, but as humans, just as humans, do we have power over the rain?
No.
To make it rain or to make it stop?
No.
Now, I'll say this, well, let's say it like this. If you got your Bibles, turn to Jeremiah, chapter 14. The 14th chapter of Jeremiah. And we're going to look at verse 22. Can anybody tell me what Jeremiah's nickname was?
Jeremy.
Jerry.
Actually, he is called Jeremy in some places. But he also had another nickname that he was known as. Anybody know that?
Bye.
He was the weeping prophet. The weeping prophet. If you'll read the book of Jeremiah and on into Lamentations, which he wrote as well, you'll find out that Jeremiah had a very big burden on his heart for Israel. And he literally, it broke his heart that the people of Israel would not return to God the goodness that God gave them. And he some say walked around crying all the time because his heart was broken. And so that's Jeremiah, the prophet. But in Jeremiah 14, verse 22, it says, are there any among the vanities of the Gentiles that can cause rain? Look at the head. Art not thou he, O Lord, our God, will wait upon thee, for thou hast made all things. Now, vain, something that really has nothing on the inside. Now, in this case, what we're talking about here is what we call the little g gods, idols, fake gods, not real gods, not God. We're also talking about the understanding of man, wisdom of the world, that kind of stuff. That's the vanities of the Gentiles. It would go on, eventually become, when you read about the Greeks in the New Testament, a lot of times they're talking about the learned people, smart, really smart in the earth, I mean, wisdom, human-wise, very intelligent. And just like Dalton just said, we learn and we can explain things about rain and the water cycle and stuff like that. So, but Jeremiah is saying, are there any among the learned people, or are there any among the false gods that can make it rain? So let's go back to that. Or can we make it rain, or can we make the rain stop? That's me. We can't, really, can we? Yeah. Hey, David's preaching. So, all right. Well, let me ask you this then. Let's go a little bit further on that. Can the earth itself make it rain?
No.
What you're asking? You think so?
Kinda.
Okay. Well, and in a sense, the discussion of the rain cycle or the water cycle, like you did, in a sense, we're like, yeah, that's Mother
That's
Nature
not-
doing its thing, right?
God made it, but it's like it's just part of the earth system.
Yeah, yeah. But here's the part where as we progress, a lot of times that we begin to leave out the part about when God made that cycle. Yeah, God made it. Yes, it's a cycle, but God made that cycle. And that's what Jeremiah was saying here is, can the earth itself alone, can it do it? Well, no, it can't. And that's something as simple as rain. I mean, rain's not a complex thing, is it? It's just rain, right? It's just water falling out of the sky. But we can't stop it, and we can't make it do it, can we? Let's look at this. And this is going to help us realize just how little we are as human beings by ourselves. Go to the book of Psalms. And we're going to go to Psalms chapter 147. And we're going to look at verse 8. The 8th verse of the 147th Psalm. And it says, who covereth the heaven with clouds, who prepareth rain for the earth, who maketh grass to grow upon the mountains. We're also going to jump right back to Job. Job 38, 26 and 27. Remember that verse that we just read. Job 38, verses 26 and 27. Now it says, to cause it to rain on the earth where no man is, on the wilderness wherein there is no man, to satisfy the desolate and waste ground, and to cause the bud of the tender herb to spring forth. Now, what's significant about those passages right there? What do you think is the thing that is trying to be, but the writers were trying to really get you to understand right there? Anybody know? Anybody got an idea? And I may not be making sense. The point in those, go back to Psalm 140, what was it, 148 or 147 verse 8. Who covers the heaven with clouds, and then prepares the rain for the earth, for it to fall, and to make the grass to grow upon the mountains. Does it say anything about, well, here's what I want to get to. And then go on back to Job. To cause it to rain on the earth, and here's what we're going to look at. Where no man is. All right, so we got a seed. What do we do with the seed? Plant. What do we do then? Well, there's more than just eat. We water. What else do we do to it?
Put it in the sun.
Yeah, we make sure it got sun. We make sure it's got water. We make sure that we pull weeds and there's no competition so it can grow and do well. Right? Now, What if that seed is in the middle of nowhere, where no people are at, no people whatsoever? What happens to that seed then?
It still grows as the land.
It still grows. It still produces the fruit.
No.
Why not?
Well, yeah, it does because in the wild we have blueberry trees.
And nobody taking care of them, right? Yeah, they still do the same thing, right? So,
Technically, what's the point of taking care of
well, so we make sure that we have the things that we need. We are supposed to work. We're supposed to toil. We're supposed to labor. That's the thing. But here's the key. Here's the point that I'm trying to make in all of that. That seed does not need people. It don't need us. It don't need the humans to grow. It don't need us. Now, it helps when it has us. It certainly does, because we can really take care of it. But it don't need us. What does it need?
Water and sun.
And where does that come from?
God?
So the seed, even though it don't need man, even though man can help it some, but if it don't need man, it still has to have God, right? Because we can't really do anything. We really don't do anything for it. Yeah, we care for it, we do some things, but we really don't do anything for it. We might put it in the ground, but we don't make it grow. We don't do any of those things. It does it whether we're here or we're not. So we're not the ones significant. God is significant even in that. Now, as we said, rain is not something that we can start or stop as humans. We can't. We can't. And yes, they do experiments and they make rain happen within a controlled environment and stuff like that, because we do understand a lot about the water cycle, but we still can't make it rain in a drought area, and we can't make it stop raining in a flooding area. We can't do anything about it. We have to just pray. And at best, that's what we can do. We pray and we let God do it. But here's something else. That rain, it don't happen by chance. It cannot be invoked by some little G God, by some idol, by some tiki or whatever, by some charm, or any of those things. Mother Nature, let me put that in quotations, Mother Nature, or the science of man, neither one has a meaning of it. God gives and takes away the rain. Now, what do y'all think, because what do you think of when you hear Mother Nature?
The woods.
Anybody else? What does it make you think of?
Plants and trees.
Nature.
All right. Now, do you realize that even though for us, it pretty much just means that, Mother Nature means that we're talking about the outside stuff, the natural stuff, the real stuff. That the term Mother Nature is actually something that goes against God and is saying that, it's an acknowledgement that nature can be worshipped, should be worshipped. It's more important than we are as humans, and that God didn't do it, Mother Nature.
That's what it says.
That's what it actually
So
says.
Mother
So be
Nature's
careful
like
when,
God almost.
well, it is for some.
Well, some people.
Yeah. So be careful when you use the term Mother Nature, and maybe leave the mother part out and just say nature, the natural world or something like that. That's just a little tidbit there for you. But those things, none of it has any control over rain. Even though the rain, again, something as simple as rain, is still not a thing of chance. It's something that is directed by God, made by God, given by God, protected away by God. Now, let's go a little bit further into rain. We've advanced. We're pretty smart. We don't have to have rain. Droughts ain't going to hurt our crops. We've got irrigation. We're going to have bin irrigation. We're going to put these rain birds out there when y'all do that little dance. Little sprinkler dance or whatever. We got stuff like that.
You mean to show them?
Yeah, would you like?
Do it.
But anyways, those kind of things, man, we work hard, we come up with ideas and ways to fix things and make things better. Irrigation is one of them, but let me ask you this. Go ask a farmer, an actual real farmer, somebody that is a true farmer, ask him what's better, irrigation or rain.
I already know the answer to
Huh?
that.
What's the answer?
It's rain.
Why?
Just by listening to my mama, it makes the plants grow better than just.
But why?
water hose.
Why does rain, I mean, we can irrigate, we can.
Because it comes from the natural world. That's all I'm.
Irrigation, irrigation from bank.
Well, in some cases, that's all it is. It's just collected rainwater that we use. But even still, ask any farmer and they'll tell you that rain is better than irrigation. Period. Well, let's look at Leviticus chapter 26, verse 4. The book of Leviticus, way back there close to the front of the Bible. 26 chapter verse 4 says, Then I will give you rain in due season, and the land shall yield her increase, and the trees of the field shall yield their fruit. See, God gives the rain. He gives the rain when He believes it needs to be given. He takes it away when He thinks it's supposed to be taken away. And believe this or not, if our nation, if us as a people are living for God collectively, if we are doing the things that we're supposed to do, according to the Bible, the rains for our crops will come when they're supposed to come, and they will go away when they're supposed to go away. God said that. He said, you glorify me, I'll take care of you. And that's what He will do. So now, not only is rain not chance, it's not something that's just a cycle that just chance happens. It is something that is created and given and taken away by God, but also given and taken exactly when it needs to be given, and exactly taken away exactly when it needs to be taken away. And it's based on the way we glorify God. Rain's starting to look a whole lot different. Let's look a little bit further into it. So God, we've figured out that rain's not by chance. We figured out that God is in control of rain. We figured out all this stuff. And we also figured out that God will give us rain when we need it and take it away when we need it taken away. What happens? Let's look at 1 Kings 17, 14. First book of Kings, 17th chapter, 14th verse. It says, For thus saith the Lord God of Israel, the barrel of meal shall not waste, neither shall the cruse of oil fail until the day that the Lord sendeth rain upon the earth. All right, Wendy, this kind of goes back to what you said. Anybody know what that's dealing with? What that verse goes with, or the part of the Bible, the story that's going on here? Anybody? This is Elijah and Ahab, which was said in the Bible. If you want to read about it, it's just a little bit above there. Ahab, a king so wicked that he was more wicked than all the wicked kings combined of Israel. That's a pretty wicked guy. He's an evil man. He's a man that has turned away from God. God told Elijah, He said, you go tell Ahab, you fix it. Cut the water across it all. There won't be any rain. And I want you to think about this. Now, y'all, really think about this. You know how long it didn't rain? For 3 years and 6 months. Now, think about this. It did not rain at all. It says it didn't even dew. It didn't mist for 3 years and 6 months.
But people said they had, like, people was executing people at the sea, like executing them.
Sacrifices. Yeah, stuff like that. And that's actually coming a little bit later. And if you want to read all about it. It's a pretty interesting story if you want to read a really neat story.
But did the sacrifices work?
Hold on. Well, I'll answer that one in just a second. But here's the thing. God is in such control of everything, if we'll let Him be in our lives, that even though it didn't rain for 3.5 years, and let me explain this to you, because you got to wrap your mind around this. If there is no rain in 3.5 years, there is no water. There's none. Water is gone. I mean, it's literally, the Choctawhatchee River has no water left in it. All your ponds and cow pastures, they're dry. Creek behind your house, dog, you can walk across the couple of buds and when it got dry, it's got so dry. I agree. But the problem is if all that happens, your pump ain't bringing enough out of the ground anymore either. There's no water. 3.5 years of no rain. Y'all, that's
How did they get water? How
Oh,
did they?
no. Uh-huh. We're fixing to explain a little bit the power of the God that we serve, the power of the God that loves us. You see, because Ahab wanted to kill Elijah, he figures this is all Elijah's fault. I'll kill him. Because he's an evil guy. God sends Elijah to go live with a widow woman that's got a little kid. And that way, when Elijah gets over to this town, he walks up to the gate, and there's a widow woman out there picking up a few sticks. And God says, that's the one. You go be with her. You tell her to bring you a little old cake to eat and bring you something to drink. You tell her, bring me that. She says, hey, I'm out here gathering these few sticks because I got a little old bit of meal left, a little bit of oil left. I'm fixing to make us a little cake, and me and my son's going to eat it, and then we're going to sit here and starve to death and die. That's what she told him. Well, he looks at her and he says, no, here's what you're going to do. You're going to gather that up. You're going to go back. You're going to make me a cake, a small little old cake. And you're going to bring it to me to eat. Then you're going to go back and you're going to make a cake for you and the kid. And then that's never going to run out as long as it don't rain. Even though you ain't got but a handful left in there of either one, it's not going to run out. We're not going to go hungry or lick. You're going to feed me, the kid, and you for as long as it don't rain. And we're going to have something to drink too. All right, so now we've got a God that can make it rain. He can make it quit raining wherever he wants. He can make things grow whether we're there or we're not there. And now he's also going to make something that's this much last for the next year or two and feed 3 people. That's a lot of power. That's the God we serve. That's how, I mean, not only can he deal with the rain, he can make things happen that don't make any sense to us. I mean, he can make sure that even though he's punishing us or punishing our nation or whatever it might be, he's still taking care of us right in the midst of it. You know what we have to do? All we have to do, don't worry about him, he'll be all right. He's still here. Look here, guys. Even still, God will take care of us. We just have to let God take care of us. That's all. That's how good I am. I can make you go to sleep. We're about to wrap this up. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 55, verses 10 and 11. I'll read it off there real quick. As for the rain, for as the rain cometh down and the snow from heaven, and returneth not thither, but watereth the earth, and maketh it bring forth and bud, that it may give seed to the sower and bread to the eater, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. All right. What I was trying to say, or what it's saying here, is that God provides for plants and for animals and for us with rain. He gives us rain. It allows things to grow. It allows things that grow that we need, for us to eat and things like that. He's going to do that. So we don't have to worry about it. He's going to do that. He's going to take care of us. But what does he give us that's more important than the rain?
Life.
Huh?
Life.
All right. But what does he give us? What does he feed us with?
Food.
So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. Because you see, as we talked about before, who's the word?
Jesus.
Ah, that's right. Which is, for us now,
Bible.
the Bible. So shall my word, or my Bible, or Jesus, be that goes forth out of my mouth. And it shall not return unto me void. Because remember what Job said? I desire your word more than even the food that I eat. So here's what we do. God's going to take care of the rain and the food and all of that stuff. And he's going to give us this Bible, and that's what we need to be concerned ourselves with, is studying and understanding this, being right with God, so that if something awful happens, and if God chooses to not make sure our little bit of meal and our little bit of oil and our little bit of water continues on through the next bad times, when we do leave this world, we're going to a place that we don't ever have to worry about whether the oil runs out, or whether the oil runs out, or whether the water runs out, because it's perfect. As long as we use the guidebook for this life to take us through this life and carry us into the next life. Last verse, Job 28 and 28, just a second. Says, and unto man he said, behold, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom, and depart from evil is understanding. I put that in there for this purpose. Dalton, it's awesome to understand about the water cycle. It's awesome for us to learn about the things of this earth, and here's why. Not because we want to be smart, not because we want to figure it out so we can make it do this and make it do that. Not those reasons. That's not why we ought to seek that wisdom of understanding the water cycle. You know why we should seek this stuff? Why we should study and try to learn and get smarter in the things of this world? We should do that because you know what it does? It shows us just how awesome our God is, just how powerful our God is. The person that loves us, whether we love him or don't love him, can do anything. There's nothing that he can't do. All we have to do is let him do it. Don't worry about it. Let God have it. He'll take care of it. It may not be what we wanted it to be, but he'll take care of it. And it'll be right. We don't have to worry ourselves with it. So when you look and you learn and you study, do it to realize this. Holy, know that I serve a God that is capable of that, and yet I can't do it. Not in comparison. That's why you study and learn. That's why you do those things. We can't even do anything to control the rain. And rain is just water. Really, it's really good water, but it's just water. We can't do anything about it. But give it to God. Stand in awe of the rain. Understand when you see that rain that you can't make it start doing that. You can't make it stop doing that. And for some reason, that water is even better than what I irrigate with. And I brought that irrigated water out of the aquifer that is just water that rained and come through the ground and went down there. But yet, some reason, that is even better than when I, how you do that? Wendy, what you showing us how to do it?
That was Denise.
Yeah.
Sprinkler.
Oh, bad.
Sprinkler.
But anyway, I mean, the thing is we got this powerful God, John, that really likes us. You know how much he likes us? Put the last verse up there. I think all y'all know this.
Oh, for God so loved the world.
He loved-
gave his only begotten
Yeah.
Son.
Break that down for a little bit. He loves all of us, people,
We did this.
this world. He loves us so much. We did. He loves us so much that he became man on earth, Jesus, God, that's God incarnate. He lived a perfect life so, and this is what you got to understand, he did this even though he had the same temptations we do. He lived it perfectly so that he could go get beat up real bad and then get killed. Why? So all we got to do is give it to him, and we can stand before God when he comes time. He loves us that much. So he'll take care of us. You ain't got to worry about that. So next time you get worried about something, with anxiety going on, stuff like that, think about that. Think about the fact that we serve a God that is so powerful that he can make the rain start, make the rain stop. And that's, when you get to sitting there and thinking about it, it's a lot more than just rain. I thought about that while it was raining this week. So, and I was wishing it would quit raining because I needed to get something done. But think about that. Look at it that way. It's God's creation. All right. Any questions? What was your question, Will?
Like, when we're in heaven, like, are we ever going to go to, like, a new world? Like, he's going to go make, like, we're going to be in heaven, and I know about that stuff, but, well, it's not really ours, but, like, are we going to, like, when, like...
Will there be a new earth?
Yeah.
Yes. Tells us that in Revelation.
So we're going to have, like, a new life almost?
In a way,
we're going to live
yeah.
up and die again?
No. In the new heaven and the new earth, there'll be no sin. It won't. What is death?
So we'll
We
be,
remember we
so
talked
we'll be alive forever, like...
And ever, and
It's
ever.
going to be so weird,
and
just
ever.
like, you know, like...
So eventually, never
is death. Remember, we've done this one before.
Well, I mean, you kind
But
of.
what is death? What is death? Death is sin.
But, I mean, you kind of die when you go to hell.
Well, you die forever. If that makes sense. Woo. Forever is a little bit longer. Forever is longer than I have ever preached up here. I know y'all don't believe that, but
Wait, today was the
Yeah.
longest you've ever.
there's eternal death and there's eternal life. It's your choice. As a Christian, no. And see, and even in the New Testament, it describes death. Paul commonly described death of the saint, of a Christian, as sleeping. He didn't even call it death most of the time. He called it sleeping. Because it was a difference. It's a difference. But you are then, your spirit is with God immediately upon death. But your old body, which will be changed and be made new, transfigured, just like Jesus' body was transfigured before he ascended. All right, that part is waiting, and that part is sleeping. If you're a Christian, if you're not Christian, if you're not saved, then you are dying, and you are eternally dying. The problem with that is that you never actually get to die. It never ends. There is no end to it. It continues on and on and on and on. And then when that comes to an end, it continues on and on and on. There's no way to really understand it because it don't ever end. So that's what you get through. All right, any more questions? What was the question back when we was talking about Elijah and do you remember? Where he went forward and we was talking about it? Oh yeah, like I said, y'all need to read that story.
I remember what it was. You asked if the sacrifices were successful.
Yes, that's right. And we might get into that, but I'll give you a brief rundown. The problem was that Ahaz was worshiping Baal, which was a false god of those that surrounded Israel. He had began to worship Baal. His wife worshipped Baal. She was up one of those nations. So to make it rain and such on all of that, 450 priests of Baal come to a place, and Elijah comes instead of God.
So did they just like jump in and find him?
Well, hold on. It wasn't just like that in that case. There was cases like that, but what they done on that particular occasion is they built, and they were going to sacrifice and get it to rain and do all this stuff. Instead, the way that they were going about it was that they would have their god bring fire and light this, light their sacrificial fire, and that would show who was the real God and stuff. But 450 priests of Baal couldn't get the fire. Baal wouldn't start the fire, surprisingly. So Elijah, when it finally come around to his turn, Elijah had him soak his wood down so it would be just soaking wet, and then he asked God to light the fire. And if you want to know what happened, just read a little bit further in First Kings. Pretty interesting stuff. Pretty awesome stories. All right, anybody got anything else?
Failed place?
Yeah, well, we're getting to that. All right, prayer request it is then. Go ahead. Yes, sir.
Gigi and I shopped.
Good job.
That's right.
Very good. Anybody remember who Shaku is?
We didn't figure out. We've been playing for 11.
Where's he at? Nigeria. I wanted to add, while we're on that real quick, just real quick, anybody that's interested, if you have a conviction to pray for foreign persecuted Christians and workers and that kind of stuff, there's a simple little app that you can put on your phone, and it is called, let me get it here real quick. I want to make sure I tell you right. It is from Voice of the Martyrs, VOM. It's called Pray Today. So let's just type in your app store. You can type in VOM, Voice of the Martyrs, and on the Pray Today app, and here's what it'll do. When you click on it each day, it's going to be something new. Each day it may or may not come up in here. I don't know. Yeah, so today, it says pray for Onan. Anybody know what that is? O-M-A-N?
country,
It is a country, very good. It's a country where? Right.
Middle East.
Absolutely.
But why do they wanna,
Well, in this case, they're asking for the prayer for the protection of missionaries serving in the country of Orange. And so you pray, and you do, and then you can click on the little I pray button, and you see just how many people have been on this particular app, this particular day, praying for this particular need. And then it'll also give you, you go to be inspired, you get a story for somebody that's been persecuted, you can read about their lives and stuff like that. It's a really neat little app. I don't use it every day. I get busy sometimes and I don't work it in, but it is something that's there, gives you an opportunity to see. I mean, we got it easy around here. Y'all, we're going to do. And looking at some of these things and reading about some of these people's difficulties, just to be a Christian. Now, it's not even to have a problem, just to say that I'm a Christian. It's pretty rough. You need to, it's good for us. It's good to do that. But I encourage you, if you got your phone and you have a conviction to pray for people outside of the United States, this is a really good opportunity to do so. So, Justin Waters, if you forget what it is, just feel free to give me a holler and I will shoot the info to you.
Is it kind of like a Bible app, kind of? But not.
No,
exactly
I mean, it's not a Bible app. It's a app strictly for prayer. So yeah, I mean, now you've got Bible apps too, such as the Holy Bible. I know a lot of people have that one, which is from, I can't remember how I got it. But there's also another really good resource if you want help with Bible study is Bible Hub. It's a really good app. So anyway, all right. Continuing on with those prayer requests. Anybody else?
Remember the Zorn family.
Absolutely, and I did get to speak a little bit with Bill yesterday, I think through Messenger. Me and him talk occasionally like that, and he wanted to make sure that everybody prayed for him. He said that my faith's not shaking. He said I'm not going back to drugs. I'm not doing that. I know that's what's happening here. He said my faith's not shaking. He said I miss my son. Of course. So y'all lift him up. I mean that's pretty tough.
I had a student, and her mom's subscriber yet. They basically share a yard with their grandpa, and it was the Levens man, just a terrible accident, lighting his heater this week, and
What happened?
anyway, they are in just so much grief.
I believe that Henry was.
He was lighting his heater like he does on any cold morning, and basically
It blew up.
exploded. It blew up.
Really?
And it didn't kill him instantly. They had him on the way to the burn center
Up in Atlanta.
and he passed on the way.
And now Stephen Capps, for those of you who know Stephen, Henry was literally like another dad.
Yeah, I saw that actually. And now his daughter
How
Kelly is the one, she's Kelly Tanton now. But, and then Kelly Carson, that's your classmate, Colton, his grandpa. But that family needs prayer.
For sure.
my daddy and Nana?
Absolutely.
Remember Troy Russian. And I talked to him today, and he said, actually remember Jackie, not him, because she's struggling.
Troy's always
He
been
said
a
she's
very unselfish person. so.
She's struggling, so.
Anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody else?
Amy Miller. That's Kim Miller's
Oh, yeah.
sister-in-law.
Cancer.
She's got cancer. Good in her family.
What about the girl from Definitive you requested prayer for that has the leukemia?
They had treatments today. She did have allergic reaction to the vinegar, and it gave her some tremors, but the first treatment didn't go well. So she actually posted it today. That, she had her first treatment today.
Anybody else? How's things going?
I had it by the end of the day. Yesterday, she wanted to go to the ball game today. She didn't do nothing during the day. And I didn't say nothing to her like that. I just come on in, loaded her up, and went to the ball game.
I can tell you, that's about the last place in the world I wanted to be, because I knew that gym was going to be packed. I wanted to watch that.
It was insanely packed.
Yeah, I I don't do good when it's that bad. So,
Remember to Cassie's, and really not just them, all of these southern
yeah,
families.
especially, yeah, places that just started
That
this.
aren't prepared for this kind of weather, that's getting all this winter weather.
I know Cassie said, what the message she put out there was that they was in pretty bad shape, family in Texas. Y'all do remember people all over the nation. I mean, we got a lot of parts, a lot of the nation is under bitter cold and stuff. And you got places in the deep south that's not used to it and not prepared for it. So it can be pretty tough. Anybody else?
We put Shelby Yates, my daughter-in-law, she's expecting next month, no, April.
How about Lori and Randall? How are they? You talk to me?
She's been out in Illinois, so she's been gone when I go by there.
Well, I'm glad that she
I mean, seriously,
Randall
Good.
and I.
yeah.
Good deal. I'm
I don't
glad
hardly see him though, because, you know, he went back to work. Unless it's just flooding, he's gone
Yep.
when I am, and then when I get home, he still ain't got home yet.
Yeah, and when he gets home, he's probably ready for bathing. So.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Like y'all remember a woman named Karen Ammons, her last name is something different now, but somebody I grew up with, if any of you remember Mike Ammons, it's his sister. She has got all kinds of different illnesses and stuff like that. She's up around Chicago now, but she's in the hospital right now. So y'all would remember her, and she's not a Christian either. So pray for that healing first, and then the other healing will work out after. Because once, if you're saved, it's okay. You know, it may involve long, but it's okay. We're gonna make it one way or the other. So, all right, any more requests? We good? All right, anybody want to lead us tonight? Would you like to lead us in prayer? Well, you go right ahead. Y'all bow your heads. Amen. That's what I'm talking about. Good job, buddy. All right, y'all remember all these are
Great job, buddy.
and